Hiya, it's Amanda here, and today I have the other half of the 2 anniversary cards that I'm making. So again, I thought I'd go with Hunky Dory, and this time it is Floral Shimmer. Now I'm actually making these at the same time, so I still got my broken thumb, so do apologise. Anyway, so it's Floral Shimmer set. Again, I suspect that this is no longer available as a kit. I've had a lot of my Hunky Dory stuff a while, but again, they do a lot of stuff that is this style of things, so you can always find something similar, I'm sure, and I'm sure other people have something similar. It's the idea of the card that I hope will inspire you, rather than perhaps the specific items. So hopefully it's enjoyable, but let's get crafting. As with the previous card, I want to make this as an A5, but I want to have this pattern piece on the inside first. However, unlike the other one, I'm going to do this as a portrait. So I think what I'm going to do is actually just, because it's adorable squirrel, we can get away with just doing it like so, because trying to score it in the right place is really hard. There we go. Okay, so then we've got this piece of card which is matching in with the choppers that I want to use, but I want to chop these 2 pieces off, not because I'm not going to use them, but because I'm going to actually raise them up. So there's our 2 edgy bits done, cut off. Now let's just cut this down. Well, actually what we'll do is, easiest thing is to stick it down. So I want to stick it centrally. So I'm just going to use some of this tape. So I want to centralize it approximately, because we don't want like one side dark and one side light, because obviously it's a gradiated thing. I mean, it's not have to be perfect, but it does help to be roughly right, so you get an even colour tone. And then I'm just going to go with scissors. So there's the piece stuck down. Now these 2 I want here. Okay, so that's foam on the back of those 2 done. And then what I want to do is add this little border down the bottom here under the foam. So I'm just going to take the scruffy edges off. They're probably not going to show, but it's just in case. It's not long enough to go all the way across. It was for a square card, but actually it doesn't matter. It's going to work out fine. And I'm just going to run along the back of that. Pop that down, and before I stick it completely, just make sure my sentiment is going to go in the, yeah, that's fine. So then we just pop that down, and then we don't need this frame for the minute. And then we want to stick these 2 down, making sure of course to get the 2 correct size. Now it depends on what you want. You could have it obviously with the silver to the outside edge, or to the inside edge, whichever you prefer. It obviously was originally designed with it on the inside, and that's where I'm going with it as well. So I'm just gonna stick it straight down. It's very new. I want to be sure to stick it down correctly, like so. And then that one down as well. So there we go. Isn't that cool? And it's just a very small bit that's raised up, but I think it works really nicely. And then that sentiment is going to be flat, but I'm going to leave that for a minute. The next thing we need to do is put our frame down. In fact, in that case, I might well put my sentiment down now, because I'll tell you why. I need to use my wet glue for this. And I want to be sure, and the reason is because there's these parts are just very slightly obviously slightly lower, because they've got the order there. So you want the wet glue because you can just add a little bit more and it will then adhere to the background. But also by sticking it now, because I've added that little bit of extra, it gives it time to set, but it also means I get a chance to be sure that I'm popping this in the right position. So what I want really is just, I'm only going to stick these two edge sides because we don't need the rest of it stuck down, it's fine. So we just take the wet adhesive again, it's very strong, this construction glue. So that will be more than enough just on those two edges to hold it in place. Nearly was too low. Okay. So that's going to be fine. It wasn't quite central, so make sure that's centralized properly. Okay, and the reason I could tell it wasn't central is because these two little bits here that were inside were not even. So then obviously I want to put this in there, but I don't want that to be the same level as that. If I did, then I didn't need to pop it out and you could have just stuck it straight down using some foam tape. But I wanted it to be very slightly higher again, so it means I'm going to have to do obviously the level of this tape and then again, so I need to do double tape. So then you want to make sure it's inside the frame properly, and as you can see it's only very marginal, it's just a small lift, but it's just to give it that little bit of dimension. It's just small bits here and there. Okay, so that's the front finished, and then I just added a bit of the pink Adorable Scoreable to the back. It's a bit hard to get the colour on there, but it sort of matches this nicely. So that's that done. So now I want to add some flowers, I think, to the front and some extra sort of decoration. Okay, so I've picked out some flowers and we're going to pop these onto the front of the card. So I'm going to start off with the one that's sort of like the big one. I need to get it in exactly the right place. And that's this lovely pink flower here. Now I'm using hot glue to do this. I find personally it works for me the quickest because it sticks it, but it's got some movement time, but it sort of sticks it down pretty quick. But it so you get it in position and it's there, it's done, no messing. And then we want these ones in after, because these have got to go down, and I want the bottom of these ones to be hidden. So we need to put him there. Actually, I think this lot needs to go in next. Basically what I'm doing is I'm hiding the bottom of the stalks with the flower that's coming sort of next in order as you go down the card. So that one will kind of hide that stalks there. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to add a bit of adhesive just in here. And that's going to stick those down, and then we're going to put this in there and that will hold that in place. So we just need to do that like that, I think that looks better. And it doesn't look like there's much going on with the glue, but it's so strong it really does hold it in place once you've got all the other bits in there as well, and it sort of sets. You'll find it really does hold it well. Want to make sure that they're nicely pushed into that glue though. So then we want this one to go in, and we're going to pop him pretty much on top of that adhesive there, and it's still wet, so it's pretty much holding it. Just gonna lift it up just a tiny bit, and then I want these two to come in. So we're going to need to put a little bit of adhesive on the backs of these. I want to bend them very slightly. So I want those like that. So let's just get a bit of glue. Put a tiny bit there. Put here on that. And you will find there's like strands. The hot glue has this habit of having like strands, so you just need to be careful. There, it's decided to go for a little wander. Let's put it on the actual flower. Yep, so don't worry too much if you've got strands. You can, once it's dry, you can kind of wipe them off. They're pretty good at coming off once it's all dry. So again, don't get too hung up. I mean, obviously you don't want there to be tons of them, but like if there's the odd one, don't worry about it. Okay, so that's that there. So then we've got these two are going to go down into here, and we're going to really kind of scrumple them into that, and then I'm going to put a little butterfly in there. So let's put this one in first. And that's the other good thing about the hot glue, is that you can angle it and sort of angle your flower and stuff so that it really kind of looks like you're creating a really cute little bundle of flowers, which is nice. Bundle? Bouquet, shall we say? It sounds much more romantic, doesn't it? A bouquet to a bundle. I'm going to pop him in there. So actually the adhesive isn't actually on the card on this one. The adhesive for these ones, these two flowers, are really onto the pink flower, and they're kind of onto each other. So there obviously will be a little bit on the card, but mostly you're kind of going into each other like that to get them to go. And then we want to have our little butterfly. This was part of the kit, and I thought the good thing about this is it's really pretty, but also it's going to hide those stalks just a little bit. So I'm just thinking I'm going to actually stick it to that stalk there. So I'm going to put it, now this is where you need to watch your fingers. So I want a little bit on this wing, so a little bit on the centre and a little bit on the wing over this side, but just watch your fingers with, because the card particularly, there's not much of it to protect you. You just want to then just balance it a bit. We're just going to add a couple of flowers up the top here, so nothing too much, and we're going to start with this pink one, which will be about there, I think, and then these two will come in like so. So we want him kind of more up, and those two can go in. That's it. But they're almost all already sticking because they're sticking to the glue that was on the pink flower. There we go. And then a little pink one. Slightly, you'll notice there's slightly different shades of pink. I just wanted to, again, it adds dimension and interest. If they're all the same shade, there's different shades in the colour of the card as well, but it gets flat looking. Okay, so the next thing, or the last thing I wanted to do was add some gems and a bit of stickles. So for these little gems, I've got these gorgeous little heart sort of crystals that I've just got in my stash again, and I just put 3 of those on here just as a little highlight really on that. I've got the foam in there, and I'm wondering if I can just push it into the foam. And this not quite in the right angle. I know what's wrong. There we go. I just wanted to use that little heart pin. I just thought that looked really sweet, and just add that up the top. Just again, just another little heart thing there. Just again, another small detail, but it all adds up. And now finally, just our crystal glitter. And basically I just want to add this to the flowers just to give them a little bit of something. So I'm just putting it on my fingers and just tapping it onto the flower, and that way what happens is it kind of just goes onto the edges of the petals, and it's just really quite pretty. It's almost, as I say, like water just has caught them. I'm hoping you can catch that. There we go, look, just catching it, I think. Nice, and I'm going to add just a touch to these flowers. Again, it just adds a little bit of something to the flower just to draw it up a little bit. You barely can see it, so let's add a bit more. Just want to make the flower pop a little bit. And sort of less on the ones on the outside, it's the main ones in the middle, and it just adds a real, I'm hoping you can catch this, it's kind of where you can just catch it there, and a little bit of sparkle. So I'm hoping you can just catch it. I think the best place is probably on the blog post, but I think you're just going to get a little glimpse of it here and there, but it's just really pretty. And then just on those flowers, I don't know if you can catch it on there, it's almost like the foiling, but and up there as well. But as I say, the best, oh, you can just catch it there, look. The best place is probably to go is to the blog post itself, because then you will see the photographs and you will get a much better view. And if you've not been here before, or you just don't remember, the link is in the paragraph below this video. Just click where it says show more or something like that, and it will open up the paragraph, and then you'll see the link, and just click on that. It'll take you straight there. And while you're there, you can subscribe to the website, and then you will never have to worry about missing a video, because it will tell you by email every time there's a post. And that's the only emails you get from me, is if there's a post. That's it, nothing else. Alright, so that is it. So that's last week, and this week are the 2 anniversary cards. So I hope you've enjoyed our guys one and our ladies one, and I hope that you've liked them. I'd be interested to know what you thought of which, and which one you like best, and if you like them at all, I guess. Alright, so thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now. Bye.